cover 5 security tips that all seniors need to know. The National Council on Aging estimates senior citizens lose about $3 billion a year to financial scams. Senior users form a favorite target demographic because attackers bank on a general lack of knowledge to all things internet. The countermeasure here, of course, is to replace that ignorance with knowledge. Here are 5 simple tips that will help any user stay on guard. Ignore links and attachments in emails from senders you don't recognize. Email phishing scams are far and away the most common method attackers use to deliver malware. These tend to be from someone who pretends to know you or have a familiarity with you. Usually, the email will contain a link or an attachment that you are encouraged to click. Doing so, though, could download malware onto your system. Once your profile gets infected, the attacker may use your contact list to send out more malware from your account. Ignore calls from robotic or recorded services. These voice phishing scams or vishing scams are easy for attackers to cast out and see who bites. When you answer the phone, the recorded voice tells you some false information that sounds vaguely urgent, then asks you to provide some personal information to supposedly correct the situation. In reality, that personal information could be used later for identity theft. The best thing to do, as soon as you hear that recorded voice start, is hang up that phone. Ignore links and attachments in text messages from numbers you don't recognize. Like the email phishing scams, these SMS phishing scams try to get you to click on a link or download an attachment. By doing either, you open the door to malware that can hijack your personal information from your computer or device. For example, we've seen quite a few SMS phishing campaigns pretending to come from couriers or parcel delivery companies, such as DHL or Australia Post. Even if you are expecting a delivery, be super cautious about clicking on any links within the message. You should normally be able to get the delivery tracking code and look it up on the company's tracking website. When the delivery notification is unexpected, delete them right away. Ignore links and attachments on social media from profiles you don't recognize. Again, the don't trust strangers rule applies to your social media accounts, just as it does to your email accounts and your texts. Whether you use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, or any other platform, remember that there are many fake profiles out there created by attackers looking for users gullible enough to become their friend and ultimately open malicious links or attachments. Don't be fooled. And while you're at it, take a moment to adjust your social media privacy settings so that they can keep you best protected. Install an antivirus program on your phone and laptop. Fight fire with fire. Cyber attackers are using cutting-edge technology, but it's no stronger than today's best antivirus technology. Avast Free Antivirus uses next-gen cybersecurity to detect and neutralize phishing attacks like the ones I've described. To make sure you always have the latest advancements working for you, keep your antivirus up to date each time a new version is released. Unfortunately, there are many other types of scams preying on seniors, such as romance scams and IRS or taxation office scams, but they all boil down to the same thing: a con artist trying to trick the user into giving away sensitive information or downloading malware onto their system. The simple rule is, do not trust strangers on the internet. Whether you're a senior or a caretaker of a senior, Keep this in mind whenever you are online. In today's technology-based society, seniors need to learn to be more cautious. Verify before you accept things at face value. When not sure about something, the prudent thing is to simply avoid it. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye.
When I did the, let me just slideshow. When I did the presentation on music in the car, and I covered quite a bit, and for the aspect of older cars that don't have any modern audio features, I mentioned briefly things like a FM transmitter. Well, then when I took my motorhome to New Mexico, and that's an older motorhome, I found out that, you know, I could really use some newer gadgets to make the technology work. So what I'm going to show you today are 3 new video clips that I've added to that presentation. In the first one, we'll talk a little bit about cassette adapters, and then I'm going to talk about Bluetooth FM transmitters. And these are not only good for getting music from your device to your car speakers, but they're perfect for hands-free phone calls. So if you have an older vehicle that doesn't have built-in abilities for hands-free phone calls, you may want to consider one of these transmitters. You can either use the Bluetooth feature wireless, or you can attach an audio cable. And I'm going to show you basically how that works. And again, the bottom line is you configure the FM transmitter to send audio sound to a not in use FM radio station, and then listen to your music on that station on your FM car radio. So here we go. Okay, folks, now we're going to move on to a vehicle that is so old. This is my 20-year-old motorhome, that the fancy entertainment system consists of an AM/FM radio and a cassette player. Then what do? Well, you can get what's called a cassette adapter. Now, the cassette adapter costs under $10 at Walmart, and this one is a wired cassette adapter. And I just recently learned that on Amazon you can buy a Bluetooth cassette adapter that will come without the wire, and it'll connect via Bluetooth your phone and the cassette. So whenever you're playing it, and I'm going to give you an example of how that works now. So I'm going to take the cassette adapter and put it into the, just like I normally would. Yeah, the wire is sticking out, but that's no big deal. And the other end of the wire is connected to the speaker jack on my smartphone, where I have the song ready to play. And I'm going to press the play button, turn up the volume a little bit. And this is my friend John Carpino, who's given me permission to play all of his music for these instructional videos. And it's close enough to me while I'm driving. If I want to hear to the next song, I can just tap on the button that goes forward to the next selection, and there it is. So, and again, the volume is all controlled on what I normally would if I was playing a tape. So that's one way of dealing with an older vehicle if it has a cassette player, and all your music though is stored on some kind of device like a smartphone. All right, the next item and type of device I'm going to talk about is called an FM transmitter. Now, these have been around for a long time. I had one probably close to 30 years ago. They were analog in those days, and they really didn't hold the station very good. What does an FM transmitter do? It takes the signal that you're sending to it to an unused FM radio station. So we know on the FM dial, there's lots of stations that are not broadcast on, depending where you are. You can then direct the signal to go to that station and hear it through your FM radio. So this particular device I liked. It has the ability for me to play a flash drive with music on it. So all I have to do is plug it in, and when it's connected to the DC power, it'll play. And it also, this is a neat one because it has a SD card. So I can actually put all of my music on a SD card like this and have it plugged in, and it'll play. The problem with this one is when I have it plugged in over here, it's in my gear shifter is in the way. So for this particular vehicle, this isn't working that well. All right, so what did I do? I went out and I got a second FM transmitter, one a little bit more flat that fits in nicely to the DC power slot on the dash here. You can see I already have it tuned to 93.1. That's the FM station, and on my radio here, I also have it at 93.1. So now when I play a song on my phone that's connected via Bluetooth, it'll come out through the speakers in the vehicle. So let's see if that works.
I've been watching out my window. Everybody looks confused.
John sounding very good. So this now is really close to me as I'm driving. If I want to go to the next song, just a matter of tapping the forward button like that, and it brings up the next song. And I can see on the phone, it's called It's About a Love. And this particular app I'm using actually gives me the lyrics. So, but I should be watching the road, not the lyrics as I'm driving. So that's how an FM transmitter works. You pair your phone with the transmitter, and whatever unused station in your area is not being used for a regular FM signal, you're able to play your device through that. All right, here we go with the final aspect. I've taken my FM transmitter, and this time I've saved all of the songs I have by John Carpino on a flash drive. And I've plugged the flash drive into the center button here. The other two actually are for if you want to charge something. Let's say you want to charge your phones or something else, you can plug in here. But the middle one will now actually read the information that's on that flash drive. And what's on that flash drive is the MP3 files of John Carpino's songs. So I have it set up again. I just have to press the play button here. And it's now, you can see there's no phone here. It's now playing the songs that are on this flash drive through the FM radio on the 93.1 station. Well, maybe I expect more from my brothers and sisters. Take a look around you, man. Take a look around you, mister. 2 minutes walking around with a hole in their heart. So even with an old vehicle, a 20-year-old vehicle that only has a cassette player, you can see there's several ways that you can take today's technology, as long as you have your music saved as MP3 files on some kind of device, and play them in your car effortlessly as you're driving along, and you can be on the road again. Thank you very much.
It's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. You know, 6 months ago, I purchased the Fitbit Sense watch and made a video about it. Today, the misunderstood Fitbit Sense revised my opinions after 6 months. Now remember, if you like this video, please click the like, and we'd sure appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. It really helps us continuing to make videos like you're seeing today. Thanks so much. Now in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 things I like about the watch, and I'm going to talk about 3 things I hate about the watch, and then I'm going to give you some suggestions. So let's get on with it. Here are the 3 things I like about the Fitbit Sense. I like the beautiful AMOLED display. It is a gorgeous watch and has a really brilliant display. I thought when I purchased it, I would have it as a always on display, but realized I like the intermittent display, which of course gives me more battery life. Since I leave the watch on all the time, I was very paranoid about the watch face scratching. So I purchased some covers that go over top of the watch. These are plastic, they work very well, and are not that expensive. I will leave a link in the show notes below on the Amazon link. I didn't change the original face on the clock and kept it the same. I do like the battery. The battery is an excellent battery, and as I discussed in the video, I usually charge it every morning while I'm in the shower for about 20 minutes. I like the health monitoring aspect of the watch. I'm not going to go into details on all the things that it does in monitoring it, as that is in the original video. But all in all, I think that the health monitoring works very well. You do have to wear this watch on a 24-hour basis because the health monitoring is done through the evening and night. So it occurs while you're sleeping. So if you take the watch off when you go to bed, this is not the watch for you. But all in all, I think it does very well. I like the integration with the Fitbit app. I've owned many Fitbit watches and feel very comfortable with my new watch and its integration with the Fitbit app on my phone. I think this all works very well. All right, let's look at the 3 things I hate about the Fitbit Sense watch. Now, I don't like Google's lack of commitment. What I mean by this is their lack of commitment to the watch. And that was part of the reason I made the first video called The Misunderstood Fitbit Sense Watch. 2 examples are, first of all, the cardiac monitoring. The ECG feature was not available on the watch when it was released. It first was available in the United States, but this is a watch that is sold globally. In Canada, it wasn't available until about 4 months later, and there was no product support or any information on any of the forums regarding this. This was very stressful because, of course, that's one of the major reasons people buy this watch. And in fact, last week I had an email from Australia, and they were complaining it still hasn't been approved in Australia. So come on, Google, if you're going to sell this watch globally, you need a commitment. The second thing that is a lack of commitment is their ability to use this in conjunction with your phone. Now, your phone is paired to your watch through Bluetooth. Now, it is true that you can set it up, and I have to receive a call on your watch. Your watch will ring, you can answer your call, and you can have a conversation. But you can't make a phone call from your watch. So there is no LTE version of this watch. Now, in a high-end watch that is competing amongst the top 3 watches on the market today, to have a watch that doesn't have LTE capability, again, shows me a lack of commitment. That is number 1 reason why I don't like the Fitbit Sense. My second reason for not liking the Fitbit Sense is the lack of apps. I am constantly trying to find a use for my very nice Fitbit Sense watch. If you go to the App Store, you'll find very few apps are written for this watch, unlike Apple's watch. This is only going to get worse since Google has announced that the Fitbit Sense watches will be leaving the Fitbit Sense operating system and going to Android Wear. So I don't see this ever changing for the Fitbit Sense watch. So this is something you may consider before purchasing this. The third thing I don't like about this watch is the health monitoring notification. Well, overnight it does a pretty good job of monitoring various functions with your body. You would think that in the morning, if there was a problem, it would notify you. If you are having no problems and you're wearing your watch and having things monitored at night, it's really inconvenient to have to look at all those views every morning and try and figure out if anything has changed. It would be so simple to have a notification if something that they were monitoring changed and needed attention. So here are my thoughts about the Fitbit Sense watch. First of all, it is important to define a purpose before purchasing. What are you going to use the watch for? There are 2 distinct features of this watch that sets them apart many other watches. The 2 features are, first of all, the EDA sensor. This is a special sensor that is on the back of the watch that is measuring your stress level. This is called an EDA sensor and is involved in stress management. The second feature, of course, is the ECG feature. So my point is this: I'm not a stressful person, and I think I manage my stress well. So to have to put the palm of my hand over top of the watch and wait 2 minutes for it to tell me that I'm stressed out is not applicable for what I want to watch for. The second part is I don't have any heart problems. And while the ECG feature is great and really works well, if you're healthy and you don't have any cardiac problems, are you ever going to use that feature? So if you take the EDA sensor away and you take the ECG feature away, here's the problem. You have a $30 watch. All the features of the watch will be available on cheaper models of watches such as the Wise watch, which you can purchase for under $30. So why purchase the Fitbit Sense with its limited functionality? So just remember, these are the changing times. The Fitbit Sense currently is heavily discounted. I suspect it's probably making way for changes and a new watch coming out. So if you have some cardiac problems, you think you need to manage your stress better, maybe this is a watch that you can pick up and it will be helpful for you. Remember, the Fitbit line is all going to be replaced with Android Wear. We also have blood sugar monitoring coming, so it is so important for you to define the use of the watch before you purchase it. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Seniors. Please click the like, and if you want to see more, to subscribe. Thanks a lot. Till we meet again. Bye now.